Let's talk about the meta in MLB The Show 21. Yes, we are talking about this a lot this year. A lot of people at this point in the game are getting really curious on endgame players. If the players are using on their team are the best of the best, who is going to stick out the next update in meta like we had in TA4, and who is going to fade out over time? What players should we expect to be used the most common in the end game? What positions are going to kind of stay the same, and what positions are going to get way better as the end game comes around here? Based off of my experiences in previous MLB The Show games, we're going to talk about the likely future of MLB The Show 21 and what we can expect to happen in these next couple months with the player meta, type of players we should expect, and overall, how you can see your team get some changes over these next few months. Let's get into it. So before we get into specifics, what type of players should we expect? What are the players that are going to be released by the end game? What cards are we going to see in Team Affinity at some point? What type of drops in players should we see? First of all, you'll likely see a prime SIG series, award series, milestone versions of the best in the game. Guys like Hank Aaron, who are new legends, Ken Griffey Jr., Willie Mays, who are like very popular players. They still need their 99 overall cards that they're definitely going to get this year. Also, you can expect finest. In case you don't know what finest cards specifically are, usually what they would do is take a current player that plays on a team. They'll be either one of the best or the best performer on that team and give them a high 90s. I think they'll be 99 overalls this year like they were last year, and give them a 99 overall card that is among some of the best at that position. And some of these cards are like really boosted more than normal. We had cards like last year, Jamer Candelario for the Tigers, who probably didn't need a 99 but had like a really good 99 overall card because he was one of the better performers on that team. And his card just played really well. And then you'll have some guys maybe not get finest cards because they have other avenues to get a card. Guys like Mike Trout might not get a finest card because he's won so many MVPs. You can go back to an MVP year or some other milestone or something he's done to give him a 99 that's really good, and they would likely do that other than using him for the finest. So you're gonna see a good mix of current players getting 99 overall cards, like that 99 Bellinger we just got the other week in BR. So we're going to be seeing the best of the best at this point in the game. You know, Live Series cards aren't going to be used, and a lot of these lower 90 overall cards starting to fade out on people's teams. So they're going to start to release 99 or high 90 overall versions of a lot of really popular current players, or players that are just like really big legends that they haven't gotten to yet. And also we have a likely postseason program in the future where we can get cards like Corey Seager, Arozarena, and Stanton last year that were really good options in there as well. And just in general, you're gonna see a lot of really good hitters at each position, a lot of really fun options for you, a lot of options to use, which is always great about this game. But let's just go through each position and let's list some of the biggest names that haven't come out yet that we could expect to get 99 overall cards to last in the end game. So we look at catcher, and catcher is one of those positions where I don't think there is any really good option that's like the no doubt best. A lot of these players are very close to each other. Piazza is like the best hitter, but doesn't have great defense. Not everyone loves his swing. Guys like Grandal are very slow. Adley is a little weak on hitting than he could have. Pudge is weak on power, but great defender. Schwarber and Salvi together is still great, but you know, you're banking on a platoon, and there isn't any like bona fide best catcher. But there are some options that could come here that could be like that best catcher option. First of all, we can get Jimmy Fox. It's likely going to happen. And 99 overall Jimmy Fox with like very good hitting attributes. Like imagine like near Frank Thomas hitting attributes, but as a catcher, just like with a little less power. Very nice option. His defense won't be great, but a lot of people like Jimmy Fox come end game. We could also expect a 99 Salvador Perez. I mean, we don't know it's going to happen, but there's a good shot he gets a 99 overall with very well-rounded attributes. Like this 97 All-Star card, really good versus lefties, but not as much so versus righty. He's not bad, but maybe you expect one with like over 100 power versus both sides, and like maybe near 100 contact versus both sides, because he's having a very solid year this year. They could make him a very solid card for that. And finally, Buster Posey's having a very good year this year, and he is yet to get a 99 overall. They can either give him an older MVP card or give him a card for this season. Either way, he'll be very solid. He'll have better defense, I think, than, say, Jimmy Fox and Salvador Perez, but likely will be a little weaker on power, which isn't the worst thing. He's actually going to be a very nice option if you're looking for a catcher in the future. But overall, I think all of these A and S tier catchers are going to stay about the same. Some of these guys may shift to A, but overall, a lot of them are going to be really damn good. There's no right answer. You just got to find who you do well with, especially offensively, and stick with it. First base, we have a lot of big names to be released. I think that the S tier, a lot of these guys will remain S tier. I don't think anyone will really move down just because of how good they are, but there are going to be other options at first base. We have guys like Lou Gehrig who haven't gotten cards. Babe Ruth, who should have a secondary position at first base on his best card. Jim Thome, who are all legends who have really, really good first base options, especially lefty bats. There are also some current players like 99 Pujols, who hasn't gotten a 99 yet, and he's always a late release, unfortunately, but a very legit first base option. We could get a card for this year or last year for like Freddie Freeman or Jose Abreu. Paul Goldschmidt could get a flashback card. Max Muncy's having a great year this year. He'd get a card. First base is one of those positions where we have so many really good players. There's not going to be like one singular best. Even though Frank Thomas is really good, not everyone likes the really low defense he has. There's nothing wrong with sticking with any of these A or S tier options in your lineup for the rest of the year because they're going to be that good. Second base, however, is almost the opposite of first. There are not many primary second basemen that are going to be really good. Mookie, I think, is going to be the best we're going to have all year. And that's perfectly okay because he's very expensive and a lot of people don't have him yet. But Mookie is probably going to be best played at second base because of how deep outfield is going to be. And he's definitely the no doubt best second baseman with the contact, power, speed, and defense. We have some cards like right now, Jazz Chisholm is just a little bit worse than like him and Jackie Robinson in my eyes. The only reason these guys are where they are is because second base does not have many options. And I think they're very solid options at second, but most people are likely going to choose two shortstop, play one as secondary as second base, then play one at shortstop. Just because a lot of shortstops have more well-rounded hitting attributes. This is almost like in the outfield, where a lot of the center fielders like Mickey Mantle, Mike Trout, you're going to likely choose a few of them, put them in your outfield just because they usually have the most well-rounded attributes and play them at a secondary. At second base, you probably see the same type of thing a lot of people are going to play. A shortstop at a secondary of second base come endgame. At second base, some names you could see soon, like a 99 Sandberg, Rod Carew, maybe Semien gets a card for this year. But not many more second basemen crazy enough. Speaking of shortstop, this position has a lot of really good options. Some are better defenders, some are better hitters. And you're probably going to choose two of them, play one at second, play one at short, unless you have Mookie Betts. There's some big names that have yet to be released. Now we look at shortstop and players that we could see. You get a lot of current players like Correa, Tatis, Corey Seager. They could get a very good 99 overall card based on years they had in years past, or even this year, where they've had very good offensive seasons. We got a card for Javi Baez, and he's definitely one of those guys I would have expected. Bo Bichette as well is likely going to get a very good card. There are going to be options at short, which is great, and you'll likely find one that you do best with. There's some other ones like Ernie Banks, Cal Ripken, who will be better defenders and legend type players. Not everyone loves Cal Ripken, but he can be like Mike Piazza this year and be like an underrated option there. Ernie Banks, I'm personally excited for. If he plays as well as his 94, that's endgame shortstop material for me. Now we go to third base, and third base, I think it's almost closer to second base, where there's one really good player in Chipper Jones, and you could also play Mickey and Vlad Jr. at secondaries. But they're like the go-to guys. Know how many more third base are gonna be really good, but some options you could expect to see are guys like Harmon Killebrew, who haven't gotten a 99 overall, who will have very good hitting and not great defense. We have some current players like Arenado, Machado, and Jose Ramirez, who could get 99 overall cards. We don't know if that's going to happen, but they have a shot at it at least. Machado would have to probably get a current year card for that. But yeah, we could see them potentially get cards, but I think guys like Machado and J-Ram are slimmer chances to happen. Then we could have guys like Spencer Torkelson get a future star card that could be a very competitive third base option as well. But I think Chipper is going to be the most used. And I think Vlad and Miggy could also stick it out and be very legit options there too. On the other hand, we have outfield. And outfield is really deep. There are a lot of really good outfielders, a lot of options that you can choose 3 of them and find some best outfield for you. But we have so many big names inbound from current players and legends. We could see complete overhauls in the outfield still. Like I said before, we need Ken Griffey Jr., Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Mike Trout. We're all going to be well-rounded outfielder types with great contact and power and defense and speed. We still have those cards to come out with. We also have other players like Babe Ruth and Juan Soto who are big bats but not as great defenders. But actually, if Soto gets a card for this year, he could have really good hitting attributes and pretty solid defense. He's had a solid defensive year this year, and they could show him the love that way. You have some underrated options like Reggie Jackson, who hasn't gotten a 99 yet, who could be a good bat. Maybe to make him better than normal. Maybe a 99 Springer for the season he's having. A lot of options in the outfield in current and former players that we haven't gotten 99 overalls with. But like I said, you're likely going to see mostly guys like Hank Aaron, Ken Griffey Jr., Willie Mays, along with Mickey Mantle, Mookie Betts type players in the outfield, just because they're the best, most well-rounded options. And those will be the most appealing to most. But overall, we just have so many options that could be coming out. It's going to be a wild couple months for sure. Now we go to starting pitching. And I think many of the guys like DeGrom, Verlander, Felix, Leiter, Arrieta, Kershaw, and Shohei could last to the end game. They likely will, most of them. With how they treat finest cards, from what I looked at last year, some of them had really good hits per 9, almost to the likes of these no-hitter cards. So if some players get finest cards, they could be really good just like guys like DeGrom and Verlander and Felix because that high hits per 9 plus a good pitch mix. One card that could be scary good is a 99 Corbin Burns if they give him a finest, just because he would have sinker cutter, really good velocity, and probably like pretty solid hits per 9 based on the year he's having. 99 Zach Wheeler could happen because he's a Cy Young candidate. We also have 99 Garrett Cole. We haven't gotten a 99 for him, and he's a Cy Young candidate. Valenzuela could be a scary good lefty. Orel Hershiser is a fan favorite many times. And, 99 Kluber, very good last year. Maybe they come out with him in some way this year. We have some other current players that have been really good in the past that probably could get a 99 overall. They haven't gotten cards yet. And finally, some future star guys could be some sleepers. Maybe we get a return of 99 Dustin May from last year. Maybe 99 Casey Mize from last year. Unfortunately, though, some of these legends were kind of underwhelming in TA4. These guys like Seaver, Gibson, Feller were some popular legend names, but unfortunately, since the no-hitter milestone cards exist, they seem a class below those other milestone cards. So they didn't live up to as much hype as they could have had. But that leaves room for other players to be just as good as them or maybe better than them based on the type of cards they get. So it's going to be interesting to see how that develops over these next couple months. Now we look at relievers, and there are a lot of actual reliever names that could get cards. But the best of the best are going to be very slim still. The only guys I think could slot into S tier could be a 99 Billy Wagner card that we eventually will get. We usually get that card every year. You could see a finest like Emmanuel Clase, who has an outlier cutter, be in this class if they give him a 99 overall. Maybe you see a, 99 Raisel Iglesias get a finest card for his year for the Angels. Also, an Eric Gagne card will likely be good enough to slot into the S tier just because of his well-rounded pitch mix and great velocity. But other than that, I think we're gonna get a lot of other mid-tier relievers. Guys like Craig Kimbrell could get another card, but his cards usually aren't the most loved. Greg Holland could get a boosted card. Kirby Yates, Giovanni Gallegos, Wade Davis, Houston Street, Troy Percival, Mark Melanson, Keith Bell. All our cards that get milestone, prime, 60, some other card this year that could be used in the pen. But I think the best of the best are only going to get a couple more options that are really good. So most of your pens will be consisting of a few of the S tier and then the rest just A tier relievers that could pitch better for you, dependent on the type of player you are. If you are someone who is looking for potential lineup changes down the road, maybe you don't love all the players that have come out yet, or if you're just waiting for a particular legend or flashback card to come out, that's where I think things are going to go over these next couple months or so. I'm curious how long we're going to keep getting content. I don't know how long after the postseason we'll see things, but overall, it's going to be most of the content and things we see inbound. We got finest, other flashbacks and legends inbound. We're not done with content yet, but we're getting to the end game. So be prepared. Find out who you've been really doing well with. Look for who you're going to be likely replacing as we go on here. It's going to get very chaotic with players in the end game here. I just kind of feel it. But it's fun. It's fun to have all the players. It's fun having these lineup choices to make. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you sub to the channel to keep up with all my uploads throughout the week. And if you want access to this individual tier list sheet that I update each week, make sure you are either joined in the memberships down below the channel here or sub to me on Twitch, and then come to the Discord in the link in the description, connect to your YouTube or Twitch there, and you get access to everything. That is going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all again on the next one. Deuces.